While making an investment decisions, you start your analysis with understanding the risk and return of an individual security. That is, you will calculate the individual security risk that measured in terms of a standard deviation, and you also measures its average return measured in terms of a mean. So after analyzing the stock, a particular stock and its return and risk, you may be interested to know how actually the particular stock is moving in tandem with other stocks, or how the stock is moving in tandem with the market. In the sense, you may be interested to know the relationship between a particular stock and the market, or a stock in one sector with the other stocks. So for example, if you are investing in banking stocks, suppose you started with your analysis with ICICI Bank. Then ICICI is a private sector bank in India. Then you would be interested to know how actually the other private sector, leading private sector bank, that is HDFC, is moving. Whether the stock prices of ICICI Bank and the stock returns or price of HDFC Bank move in tandem, or they are moving in an opposite direction. This is one. And in another scenario, let us say you want to know how actually your stock is working, or how your stock is moving in related to the market or particular industry. In that case, let us say you are interested in State Bank of India, and you want to know how the State Bank of India is related to the other banking stocks. Instead of measuring with each individual banking stock, you can compare State Bank of India stock with the BankX, that is the index of banking stocks. So such kind of relationships, when you try to make between one asset and another asset, we use the different equations. Like we start with the covariance, then we move to the correlation. So the covariance and the correlation, these concepts explain you how one individual stock is related with the other stock, or we can say it's a mathematical relationship between one financial asset with the other financial asset. So in this video, I'll show you how to calculate the covariance between two variables, or covariance between two assets. Then the covariance may be a positive or it may be a negative. When the covariance is a positive, we say that both the stocks are moving in tandem in the same direction. And if a covariance is a negative, then one stock is moving in one direction and the other stock is moving in an opposite direction. That means, let us say if HDFC Bank is giving you a positive returns, on the other side ICICI Bank gives you a negative return. So this is a negative covariance. So we'll see how to calculate the covariance. Here we have returns of two stocks. One is stock R and second is stock K. And on these two stocks, I'll show you how to calculate the covariance. When you say covariance, the covariance of XY, that is between two stocks, this equals to summation of Ni equals to 1, then X of I minus X bar, then Y of I minus Y bar by N minus 1. So assuming that this is a sample, we are taking N minus 1. If your data is a population, then you need to take a N. Okay. So first is that you need to calculate in step 1, you need to calculate X bar and Y bar. That is, in our case it is R and K. Then in a step 2, you calculate the deviations. Then in step 3, product of deviations. Then in step 4, finally calculate the covariance. Now first we start with X bar and Y bar, that is your average. So this is first X bar. So this equals to 12 plus 10 plus minus 8 plus 14 plus minus 6 plus 16. And Y bar, this is minus 10 plus 11 plus 15 plus minus 9 plus 7 plus minus 12. So we are taking a summation. As you know that your X bar and Y bar, this equals to sigma X by N, and this equal to sigma Y by N. So our values will be 12 plus 10 plus minus 8 plus 14 plus minus 6 plus 16. So this is 38. Now sigma x equals to 38. Then we calculate for summation of y, that is minus 10 plus 11 plus 15 plus minus 9 plus 7 plus minus 12. So this equals to 2. Summation of y is 2. And then your x bar equals to 38 by 6 and y bar equals to 2 by 6. So this is 38 by 6, 6.33. I'll take x bar as a 6 and y bar 2 by 6, 0.33, or I'll take y bar as 0.3. So you have x bar values and y bar values, that is a mean of x and mean of y. Then we'll try to substitute these values to get the covariance. Now we calculate the deviations. Deviations are x minus x bar and then y minus y bar. First we'll have a 12 minus 6, then likewise 10 minus 6, minus 8 minus 6, then 14 minus 6, then minus 6 minus 6, then 16 minus 6. So these are the values of x bar, and then y bar is minus 10, minus 0.3, then 11 minus 0.3, then 15 minus 0.3, then minus 9 minus 0.3, then 7 minus 0.3, then minus 12 minus 0.3. So then we take the product. So this is product is x minus x bar times y minus y bar. So this comes to 6 into minus 10.3, then 4 into 10.7, then minus 14 into 14.7, then 8 into minus 9.3, then minus 12 into 6.7, finally 10 into minus 12.3. Now finally we'll get a summation of x minus x bar and y minus y bar. So this equals to minus 61.8 plus 42.8 plus minus 205.8 plus minus 74.4 plus minus 80.4 plus minus 123. So minus 502.6. Now your covariance of xy, this equals to summation of x minus x bar whole square times y minus y bar whole square, y minus y bar by n minus 1. So this is minus 502.6 by 6 minus 1. So this comes to minus 502.6 by 5, and this is minus 502.6 divided by 5. So your covariance is minus 100. Covariance equals to minus 100.52. So this is a negative covariance, in the sense if one asset is moving up, the other asset is moving down. Now just if you can observe here, so when return R is a positive, then this is a negative in opposite direction. So here there is a positive, and here this is in a negative, and this is a positive. This is positive and negative here, negative, positive, positive and negative. So they are moving in opposite directions. That's the reason why you got a negative covariance. If both are in a positive or both move in the same direction, then you will get a positive covariance. Thank you.